Long before the first laboratories studied the brain, there were temples across Africa where the mind was treated as sacred technology. Inside stone chambers in Kemet, priests sat in complete stillness for hours, their breathing perfectly synchronized with the rhythm of the Nile. To them, meditation was not about calmness. It was about unlocking the superconsciousness that connected humans with divine intelligence. Their stillness wasn't silence, it was science. An ancient mastery of focus that modern neuroscience is only beginning to understand. Imagine walking into one of these temples at dawn. The air hums with the sound of low chants that seem to pulse in time with your heartbeat. Every vibration, every breath is measured, each movement intentional. In that silence, the mind doesn't drift, it sharpens, it expands, it awakens. These ancient African masters discovered that the brain could be trained not through thought, but through rhythm, sound, and vibration, transforming the body into a living instrument of awareness. Centuries later, explorers and scholars recorded astonishing tales of African sages who could enter states of mental clarity so profound that time seemed to dissolve. From the sands of Nubia to the highlands of Ethiopia, they found healers and philosophers who spoke of the great mind, a consciousness that existed beyond the physical world. These were not myths, they were methods, precise techniques passed down through initiation, guarded within secret orders and temple schools. Today, as scientists map neural pathways and study altered states, they are uncovering the very patterns those ancients already mastered. The rhythmic breathing they used stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. The chants that once echoed through sacred halls synchronized brainwaves into powerful theta and gamma frequencies. What we call flow, or deep focus, they called divine alignment. This forgotten science of the mind wasn't lost because it failed. It was hidden in plain sight, waiting for the modern seeker to rediscover it. Every inhale, every vibration was a code, a key to awakening the limitless potential of the human brain. And now, as the world hungers for peace, clarity, and connection, those ancient African superbrain techniques are rising again, ready to teach us what perfect meditation truly means. In the heart of ancient Africa, meditation was never seen as a retreat from the world. It was a training ground for mastery. Civilizations such as Kemet, Nubia, and Mali treated the human mind as a divine instrument, one capable of tuning itself to the frequencies of creation. To them, consciousness wasn't abstract. It was measurable, moldable, and expandable. Their goal wasn't escape. It was alignment with the universal rhythm that pulsed through everything. In Kemet, the priests spoke of the Ka and the Ba, the life force and the spiritual essence. Perfect meditation, they believed, was the union of both, where the conscious mind and the infinite spirit became one seamless flow. These meditations were performed in geometrically precise chambers built to amplify sound and energy. The walls of temples weren't merely decorative, they acted as acoustic mirrors, bouncing harmonic vibrations that could stimulate certain mental states. Each symbol carved into stone was a neurological trigger, a visual mantra designed to awaken dormant pathways in the brain. Far to the west, in the land of Mali, ancient scholars practiced deep concentration rituals before engaging in complex astronomical and mathematical calculations. They believed knowledge was not memorized, it was downloaded through resonance. Before studying, they entered what they called the still water state, a form of trance achieved through slow rhythmic breathing and drumming patterns that matched their heartbeats. Modern neuroscience now recognizes this same state as the gateway to theta brainwaves, the frequency associated with creativity, intuition, and memory consolidation. Even more astonishing were the Dogon people of present-day Mali, whose oral teachings described the Sirius star system with impossible precision. Knowledge confirmed by telescopes only thousands of years later. Their elders taught that this insight came not from observation, but from inner vision, the mind's eye unlocked through meditation. Their focus exercises involved staring at natural patterns, water ripples, sand spirals, or the shadows of stars, until the boundaries between the observer and the observed dissolved completely. In that state, they claimed, one could see the architecture of the universe within the structure of their own thoughts. These ancient practices reveal something profound. Africa's meditation wasn't passive spirituality. It was mental engineering. By combining rhythm, breath, geometry, and sound, they built neural bridges between body and cosmos. They weren't simply meditating, they were coding the brain to mirror creation itself. Modern science may call it neuroplasticity, but in Africa, it was known as remembering the original frequency, the vibration of divine thought. If the ancient temples of Africa were the laboratories of consciousness, then their rituals were the experiments, refined over centuries of observation and inner exploration. Each technique was more than meditation. It was an algorithm for rewiring the human mind. These methods blended rhythm, breath, geometry, and sound into precise mental exercises designed to unlock what they called the Great Silence, a state of absolute clarity where thought and creation became one. The first and most essential technique was rhythmic breathing, known among the priests of Kemet as the breath of Ma'at. Practitioners inhaled deeply through the nose, expanding the lower belly, and exhaled slowly through pursed lips to the count of 7. This wasn't arbitrary. The rhythm corresponded to the human heart rate in deep rest, synchronizing body and mind into harmonic resonance. The ancients believed that when breath slowed, the mind followed, and when the mind stilled, the higher consciousness awakened. Modern science confirms this. Slow breathing increases vagal tone, activating the parasympathetic system and improving focus, creativity, and emotional balance. The next layer was vibrational alignment through sound. In Africa, sound was sacred, not entertainment, but technology. The use of low-frequency drumming, humming, and chanting wasn't symbolic. It physically changed the practitioner's brain. When groups gathered to meditate with the drum, the beat created an entrainment effect, aligning the brainwaves of all participants into the same frequency. This collective synchronization amplified concentration, reduced ego boundaries, and produced what we now describe as group coherence. Every tone had intention. A deep resonated with the body's core, while higher harmonics activated the crown of awareness. One of the most extraordinary rituals took place in the temples of Dendera, where initiates would sit in darkness, surrounded by walls covered in hieroglyphs. Each symbol, each curve, represented a vibrational sound. Practitioners would trace these glyphs with their eyes, breathing in rhythm, and chant the phonetic tones they symbolized. The purpose was not to read, but to resonate. As the sounds filled the chamber, the temple itself became a resonant amplifier. Initiates described visions of light and geometry emerging behind closed eyes, what neuroscientists today would call entoptic imagery, a byproduct of synchronized neural firing in the visual cortex. In West Africa, among the Yoruba and Akan traditions, meditation took the form of sound and motion synchronization. Dancers and drummers entered trance states where every muscle movement was controlled by the beat. This wasn't chaos, it was control of the highest order. By aligning their movements to rhythm, they bypassed the analytical mind, allowing pure consciousness to move through them. To the untrained eye, it looked like art. But to the initiated, it was brain recalibration, the mind learning to trust the intelligence of rhythm itself. Another key element of the superbrain techniques was mental visualization through geometry. The Egyptians called it Sefek Ba-Ra, aligning the soul with the sun. Practitioners visualized the rising sun expanding within the mind's eye, radiating light through the body. The practice was said to strengthen mental clarity and intuition. Today, we know that focused visualization increases the brain's ability to activate sensory areas, literally training neurons to behave as if the imagined were real. It's mental programming thousands of years before cognitive science. But the true genius of these systems lay in their integration. Breathing, sound, motion, and visualization were never separate acts. They were one continuous symphony. A practitioner would begin in silence, tune their breath to Ma'at, hum in resonance with their heartbeat, visualize light spreading from their chest, and move in gentle rhythmic patterns that mirrored the universe's pulse. This complete harmony created what they called the return to Zep Tepi, the primordial moment of divine order, where the mind remembered its infinite potential. Science now describes similar phenomena as whole brain coherence, when all brain regions communicate in synchronized oscillation, resulting in heightened awareness and accelerated learning. The ancients reached this state without electrodes or machines. All they needed was breath, rhythm, and awareness. They weren't meditating to escape reality. They were programming the human operating system to its highest frequency. As the rituals deepened, practitioners often experienced what they described as hearing the silence, a paradoxical awareness beyond sound or thought. In that silence, insight arose effortlessly. Decisions became clear. The separation between self and universe dissolved. That was the moment they called perfect meditation. These techniques were not lost to time. Fragments remain in African drumming circles, Sufi chants, and the rhythmic breathing of traditional healers. The ancient masters understood something we are only beginning to rediscover. The brain is not just an organ. It's a musical instrument, and when tuned correctly, it sings the song of creation itself. In ancient Africa, sound was never merely heard, it was felt. It wasn't entertainment or art, it was the foundation of creation itself. Every culture, from the Dogon to the Zulu, believed that the universe was spoken into existence. The power of vibration was sacred, and those who mastered it could alter reality. This was the root of the ancient African understanding of Nomo, the generative force of the spoken word. Nomo was not just language, it was living energy, capable of shaping thought, body, and matter. When ancient healers spoke, they didn't simply communicate, they activated. Each tone, each syllable, carried a specific frequency that resonated with the cells of the body. Words of praise lifted energy upward, words of anger pulled it down. The elders taught that to speak is to create, and every vibration released from the tongue was a command to the universe. In their rituals, long before microphones and amplifiers, voices echoed through stone temples engineered to enhance sound resonance. Those vibrations didn't just fill the air, they rewired the mind. Modern science now confirms what the ancients intuitively knew. Sound waves can alter brain chemistry, heart rhythm, and even cellular behavior. Studies show that chanting deep frequencies like OM or OM activates the vagus nerve, producing a cascade of relaxation chemicals, serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin. Meanwhile, certain drumming patterns, especially those in 4 to 7 Hz, synchronize brain hemispheres, improving focus and memory. The same frequencies used in ancient rituals are now used in modern brain entrainment therapy and even military focus training. But Africa's sound mastery went beyond biology. It extended into cosmology. Among the Dogon, vibration wasn't just physical, it was spiritual geometry. They taught that every sound was a shape, and every shape a key to consciousness. Their symbols, spirals, concentric circles, and star patterns, weren't decorative art, they were acoustic blueprints. When drummed, chanted, or hummed, those patterns came alive, producing energy fields that affected both space and psyche. They called it the dance of the invisible, the interplay between vibration and existence. In the great temples of Kemet, initiates underwent years of training before they were permitted to utter certain tones. Some frequencies were believed too powerful for untrained minds. The hieroglyphic symbol of the mouth, Ra, the creative word, represented divine manifestation. To speak in balance was to sustain the world. To misuse sound was to distort it. These ancient sound scientists discovered that specific vowel combinations could induce altered states, opening the pineal gland, the eye of Heru, and producing visions of radiant geometry. What modern researchers call DMT activation, the ancients knew as the flowering of the inner light. Across the continent, this science evolved into cultural forms that still carry its essence. The rhythmic chanting of the Maasai, the polyrhythmic drumming of the Yoruba, and the harmonic call and response of the Zulu are not random traditions, they are neural activators. Each rhythm, each vibration entrains the mind to a communal frequency, dissolving individuality into unity. In those moments, thought ceases, and awareness expands. The collective heartbeat becomes the meditation. Contemporary physics is now catching up. Quantum resonance theory proposes that matter itself is vibration, that the universe hums with a frequency from which all form emerges. The ancient Africans lived by this truth. They believed that by tuning their own vibration, they could harmonize with the frequency of creation, aligning their inner world with the outer cosmos. The act of meditation through sound was, therefore, a dialogue with existence itself, a recalibration of being. When the ancients practiced perfect meditation, they didn't silence the world, they joined it. The drumming, the chanting, the resonance, all of it was a conversation between consciousness and creation. Silence in this sense wasn't absence of sound. It was the perfect harmony of all frequencies, vibrating in balance. That was the sacred goal, to become one with the rhythm that holds the universe together. Even in today's most advanced sound laboratories, researchers marvel at how sound waves can influence matter. In cymatics experiments, sand and water form intricate patterns when exposed to specific tones, geometric shapes identical to African sacred art. It's as if the ancients left us a visual record of sound's invisible architecture. What they called the language of the gods, we now call frequency resonance. The science hasn't changed, only the vocabulary. To meditate using sound, they taught, is to remember your origin. To chant is to command light into motion. To breathe in rhythm is to awaken the code that lives in every cell. The ancient African masters didn't chase enlightenment, they vibrated into it. Through the resonance of voice, drum, and heart, they discovered the most profound truth of all. When you master vibration, you master reality. The ancient masters taught that enlightenment wasn't a destination, it was a discipline. The mind, they said, is not something to escape, but something to train. Today, with all our science and technology, we've rediscovered what they always knew. The human brain can be shaped, rewired, and optimized through intention and rhythm. What was once sacred ritual can now be understood as neurosculpting. To practice the ancient African superbrain techniques today, you don't need temples of stone or priests in white robes. You need silence, rhythm, and breath, the original trinity of the human mind. Begin each day the way the scholars of Mali and Kemet began theirs, in stillness. Sit upright, close your eyes, and bring awareness to your breath. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 7, and exhale slowly for 8. Feel the tension leave your body like smoke fading into the air. This rhythmic breathing stabilizes the nervous system, sharpening focus while soothing anxiety. It is the ancient breath of Ma'at, the same pattern that once echoed through the pyramids. Next, introduce sound. Humming is enough, a simple low vibration that you sustain for a full breath. As the sound moves through your chest and skull, you'll begin to feel a subtle buzz behind your forehead and between your ears. That's resonance, the physical vibration of consciousness. In ancient temples, these frequencies were amplified through stone walls and water channels, but the human body itself is the original resonator. Consistent humming activates the vagus nerve, lowers stress hormones, and synchronizes the hemispheres of the brain. In just a few minutes, your mind becomes clearer, calmer, and more responsive. Once you have mastered rhythm and sound, the third element is visualization. The ancients visualized light, not as an idea, but as a tangible experience. Imagine a golden sphere at the center of your mind, expanding outward with each breath. See it fill your body, your space, your entire awareness. This is the practice of Sefek Bara, aligning your inner light with the sun's radiance. It's not symbolic, it's neurological. Studies show that visualization activates sensory and motor areas of the brain, building new neural connections that make imagined experiences real. The ancient Egyptians didn't visualize to dream, they visualized to create. After breath, sound, and visualization comes movement, the final pillar. In traditional African meditation, motion was never separate from stillness. Gentle, rhythmic swaying synchronized with breathing completes the circuit between body and mind. This embodied meditation grounds energy and transforms thought into action. Every motion, every sway becomes a heartbeat of awareness. As the Yoruba say, the body remembers what the mind forgets. Movement anchors wisdom into muscle memory, ensuring that knowledge becomes experience. To integrate all four, breath, sound, light, and motion, is to unlock the superbrain state. Neuroscientists call it whole brain coherence, the moment when all parts of the brain communicate in harmony. In this state, ideas flow effortlessly. Focus sharpens, creativity and logic merge. You feel lighter yet more powerful. Time slows down, and awareness expands. The ancients reached this state through discipline, and modern science has proven it's real. Measurable through EEG scans showing synchronization of theta and gamma brainwaves. You don't need to spend years in silence to experience this transformation. 10 minutes of intentional practice a day can rewire your brain. Over time, you'll begin to notice subtle but profound changes: sharper intuition, deeper calm, faster learning, and a sense of alignment with something greater. You start to think differently, not in words, but in patterns and vibrations, just as the ancient masters did. These techniques also carry a deeper message. The true purpose of the superbrain isn't mental superiority, it's harmony. When the mind is clear, emotions balanced, and attention anchored, you begin to perceive reality without distortion. Fear dissolves, creativity flows, compassion becomes natural. You remember, as the ancients taught, that consciousness is not limited to the brain, it's the fabric of existence itself. In this sense, meditation isn't about escaping life, it's about entering it fully. It's about walking through the world with the stillness of a mountain and the clarity of a river. The African masters never meditated to withdraw, they meditated to tune themselves to creation's rhythm. Each breath was an offering, each vibration a dialogue with the divine. Today, when the modern world races faster than ever, these ancient practices return as medicine. They remind us that technology doesn't make us more human, awareness does. To meditate as they did is to remember who we truly are, beings of sound, light, and rhythm, designed to think with both the mind and the spirit. So, breathe, hum, visualize, move. Tune yourself to the frequency of creation and let the echoes of the ancients guide you. The same power that awakened the sages of Kemet and the visionaries of Mali still sleeps within your own mind. And when you awaken it, when you become the superbrain, you'll discover that the universe has been whispering to you all along, in the language of vibration. The greatest secret of the ancient African sages was never hidden, it was forgotten. For centuries, their wisdom slept beneath the dust of time, waiting for minds brave enough to remember. But today, as humanity searches for balance in the noise of modern life, their teachings rise again, whispering the same truth they once chanted in temples of stone and fire. The power you seek has always been within you. When you breathe with intention, you are performing the breath of Ma'at. When you hum in resonance, you are awakening the same vibrations that once echoed through the pyramids. When you visualize light expanding from your mind, you are practicing the solar meditation of Sefek Bara. These are not relics of a vanished world. They are living technologies, encoded in our biology, waiting to be reactivated. Every heartbeat, every inhale is a memory of divinity calling you home. The ancients knew that the human brain was not simply an organ of thought, it was the seat of creation. They understood that vibration shapes reality, that sound sculpts emotion, and that silence reveals truth. Their science of the mind wasn't superstition. It was a system of mastery that united physics, spirit, and soul. And now, through modern neuroscience and meditation, we are rediscovering that same truth. The circle has closed, the ancient has become the future. The reawakening of ancient minds begins not in temples, but in the present moment. Right here, right now. Every person who learns to still their breath, to tune their frequency, to master their thoughts, contributes to a collective shift in consciousness. This is how civilizations rise again, not through monuments, but through awareness. The pyramids were symbols of focus. Now the mind itself becomes the new temple. So take this knowledge not as history, but as inheritance. You are part of a lineage of thinkers, dreamers, and visionaries who shaped the very science of consciousness. The superbrain isn't a myth, it's your birthright. Awaken it, nurture it, and use it to create a world worthy of the wisdom that came before us. And if you felt that spark, that pulse of ancient memory, don't let it fade. Let it guide you deeper into your own inner universe. Like this video, share it with a seeker, and subscribe to keep exploring the mysteries that connect our past, our mind, and our infinite potential. Because the age of forgotten knowledge is ending. The era of remembered minds has begun.